scoot over this way a little bit towards me, so I can see both of us for a moment to start.
Okay.
Hello guys, I hope some of you will show up, but we're going to go ahead and do this session and record it. This is a session with Gayle Williams, who is a librarian and a specialist in Latin America, and I've found her tutorials to be excellent and helpful every time I've sat through one, so she's going to give us a quick overview of some possible resources that may help you as you do your research for your research papers. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Gayle Williams. So now you can open up a browser there.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. Again, I'm Gayle Williams. My official title is Latin American and Caribbean Information Services Librarian, so that means I do work with students in addition to making decisions on what the library acquires for our collections to support Latin American and Caribbean studies. What I'm going to go through today is what I usually go through when I do a face-to-face instruction session. So hopefully it won't be terribly different, but bear with me if I'm sometimes forgetting that you're an online group. What I'm going to show you in particular is through the library homepage, library.fiu.edu. Always remember it's a good idea to just go ahead and log in with off-campus access before you start anything, even if you don't think you're going to be using anything electronic, because if you stumble across something you want to go ahead and open up, then this is what you use. You log in using your FIU email credentials, or if you've gotten what we call the library number, which is the 14-digit number on what's usually on the back of the FIU 1 card, you can use that as well as creating a password with your date of birth. So the other thing that you're going to have as a resource after today is a course guide. This is part of a program that we can use to describe our resources within the library, to select a few, or in the case of an instruction session like this, this is the way that we can go back in and highlight very selected items that we think you'll need. Because of course our library, like any academic library, is big and has lots of materials. I'm not expecting to show you everything, but this is to get you going. You'll see on the course guide that you've got my contact information, my email, my phone number. So even though you're online, even if you don't come to campus, please get in touch with me if I can help you. We can probably do it through email, even a phone call, and I might be able to see if I can do my own Adobe Connect session where we could meet out. So what you're going to do to get to the course guide is go again to library.fiu.edu. On the left side, you'll see subject and research guides. Click there, and then it opens by what are topics. So you're going to scroll down till you find Latin American and Caribbean Studies, and then you're going to click on the course number for your class. It's all listed alphabetically. So LAS 4294, Contemporary Latin America and the Caribbean. So it's going to be right there. Most of what I'm talking about is actually embedded in one way or another here on the library homepage. One thing I like to mention is to avoid using the search box, especially for articles as well as the catalog. It still has some technical issues that make it a little harder to use. So instead you would come up here under catalog. So I'm going to show you in a minute what you do for finding books, and then under research tools and down to the A to Z list to click to where you go for the actual databases that are guides that help you identify journal articles for a particular topic. So I'm jumping back over to my course guide. When you look at the guide, you'll see on the left side it has a group of headings. So these are all tabs you click on. So you're just going, it's a website, so you're really just going from the opening page to different pages throughout. So the first one, we'll just go ahead and open that and talk about how to find books at the library. First thing is probably that you're going to be concerned with looking for electronic versions of books. You may not find exactly what you're looking for because electronic books for current materials, everything is not available online. You will find electronic versions of books for older materials, let's say from the 19th century, from up to about 1923, through a variety of sources, some of which are listed in the online catalog. But also, for looking for newer material, a lot of our books that are currently published, we are going to either having both the paper copy and the e-book version or the e-book only. So what you'll notice is that when you are searching the catalog, you're looking for a little icon on the record of the search that says that'll show you a book with a red E on it. So that's an e-book. That tells you that this is an electronic version of the book. And to actually view the book, right below it is a link that says FIU users, view content here. So that's what you're going to do. So let's take a minute and do some searching in the catalog to find some books. So let's see. A good topic is probably going to be, we'll do something on women in Peru and economic conditions. And I'm just making this up as I go along. And I see Raphael joined us. Hi, Raphael. So this is what we call an anywhere search. And you'll see that you can change this. Anywhere is a keyword search, but you can change it when you're looking for a distinct title or author. And I'm going to show you another way you can search in a minute. So when I click this, I'm asking the catalog to search for these three words anywhere in the whole record. And in this case, we got 44 items, which is not bad. And there is a whole different array of different materials. We do have some books in Spanish. We have books in English as well. And actually, if I looked over on the side here, the shaded area under formats, this would show me, and it turns out we even have a DVD or whatever film about women and economics in Peru. So that's one way of doing it. Now, sometimes a keyword search is not really enough. And what I want to show you at this point is another way you can use this search to look for particular materials or to refine your search. So I'm going to click on the first record I got is in Spanish, the situation of the woman in Peru, 1980 to 1994, la situación de la mujer en el Perú, 1980 hasta 1994. When I open the record up, what I'm looking at is this area that says subjects general on the record, and I see a heading that's actually very similar to what I added. So women, Peru, economic conditions, also with statistics added to it. This is what we call a subject heading. And a subject heading is a controlled vocabulary that's added to all the materials that we create a catalog record for. What's useful about it is, even though my search was in English, it brought up a book in Spanish, and that's the whole point. Cataloging records give consistency. Some book titles are very clear, some are not, about what they're dealing with. Subject headings bring together books in a consistent fashion on the same topic. They bring together books no matter what language they're written in. So this subject heading is going to bring me books in both English and Spanish, because for a topic like this, that means I probably read both languages and can use them. But if there were also books written in French or German that the library has on this topic, and I read those languages, don't have to, but if I do read them and I want to, that means they would be here as well. So just to jump back over to the course guide, first I want to allay your fears. You're not expected to become a subject heading expert. This is an area that librarians practice, and So these, again, are as a controlled vocabulary, are coming from a source you don't have access to. But certainly as you start searching the catalog using keyword topical searches, take a look at those records and see what they tell you in terms of the subject headings, what else they give you that can help you redo a search. And the difference is, like I say, well, I didn't say before, but the difference being I change anywhere to subject headings, because that is now telling the catalog, only search these words, women, Peru, economic conditions, in the subject heading field. We started with a search of 44. This brings it down to 10. Some of those in the original 44 might be just as pertinent, but sometimes the trouble with a keyword search is you actually get many more results that are less relevant. So sometimes using a subject heading search is actually can be more efficient, or it can help you with your keyword searching by expanding upon what you're trying to find. So on my course guide under finding books, I have what's a very brief list of the types of subject headings that can help you for this class. Because subject headings are actually once you know them, they have patterns. So a good pattern is for the fact that you can take most subject headings and change the name of a geographic region, a country, a state, a continent, or a region like Central America, and put in various kinds of topical visions. So a common one would be if you're looking for something under Venezuelan history, the subject heading becomes Venezuela history, and it could be followed by 19th century, 20th century, and so on. These kinds of subject headings also have chronological subdivisions, but that's again where the controlled vocabulary comes in, because what that means is those chronological subdivisions can only be used for that particular country because they're not relevant to another country's history. So an example would be, we have Mexico history, revolution, 1910 to 1920. Well, we can't use that revolution 1910 to 1920 with United States history, because that same event didn't take place there, even though it may have affected the United States in some way or another, as we all know. Other types of subject headings can be something on military government, so that could be followed by any number of countries. You can use a person's name as a subject heading. In the case of Evo Morales, his actual full name is Evo Morales Aima, but you don't have to worry if you don't know that second part of his surname. If you know him as Evo Morales, use that as a subject heading. There are different kinds of subject headings, and again, I've got a very tiny listing in terms of looking at subject headings for cultural phenomena, creative expressions, in other words, literature. What do you use for a subject heading for movies? It's motion pictures, actually. For different kinds of groups, and especially for indigenous people, Library of Congress, who creates the subject headings, is not always up to date on more sensitive terminologies. So they are still using Indians rather than indigenous people, natives, Native American. And they start them out with Indians of very broad regions, Indians of Mexico, because that's the biggest, Indians of Central America, which can be followed by a distinct country. Same thing for Indians of South America, followed by a distinct country, Indians even of the West Indies. You can also, of course, search by the names of distinct indigenous groups, Mayas, Yanomamo Indians, Incas, and so on. You'll also want to, you can use this if you're doing searches on ethnic groups in Latin America, so Italians, followed by Costa Rica. Yes, they were there too, as well as in Argentina, Argentines, France, East Indians, Guyana. So these are just a small sample of the kind of searches that you can do with subject headings. But again, don't get too caught up in it and worry that you're not finding the right things. The whole point is to take that first results list you've got with your keywords and just take a look to see what the subject headings give you that you might want to redo your search with so that you'll have something better. Okay, so a couple of other things taking into account. This is an online class. I've got a couple of books on my screen for women in Peru that are showing that ebook icon with the FIU users view content here link that you would click on. So that's going to take you to whatever the text is. Now, anytime you have this ebook link, how it shows it to you really depends on the actual publisher that's providing the text. So in this case, we went out to a 1982 book, Trabajo y Vida Cotidiana, which is held in the Latin American Women Writers database. And what it's showing here is now I still have to click to download or to open the PDF of that full book. But once I do that, then I've got it on my screen, so it's only 32 pages. I can print it out if I needed to. At this point, I can save it to my own computer. Now, sometimes that e-link will, most of the time for e-books, the link you click will not take you directly to the book. It's usually going to be a combination of a PDF or a table of contents that are all linkable, so that if you're not reading the book from start to finish and you want to go to chapter 5, because that's covering an important aspect of what you're reading, then you can do that. So the ebooks are coming to us from a variety of different vendors, and you do have to expect that that they will react differently from one title to another. From what I know, some of you are online, but you might actually be in the area. So of course you are still welcome to come in and use the library itself in person to pull some of the print books that we have, because again, everything is not online. So just because we have something that's electronic, that doesn't mean we'll have it in print, vice versa. Some of the print books, while we do have the electronic version of them, we don't have them for everything, and especially with older titles. But when you find a book you need to see on campus, you do have to come here. We can't deliver it to you, but you would pay attention and see that it says, I'm looking at a title, Green Library General Collection. The catalog covers all the FIU libraries, so it might be a title up at Hubert Library at the Biscayne Bay campus. It could be at the Law School Library, which is on the main or Modesto Medici campus. What you're also looking at following the location is what we call the call number. This is Library of Congress classification, so this is putting books together on the same topic, and books are shelved in call number order. So the call number is labeled on the spine of the book. At the end of the call number is a little link that says Map It. So when I click that, that's going to tell me that to get to that particular book, I have to go to the 6th floor in Green Library. Available means that it should be there on the shelf. No one else has checked it out. But sometimes books are missing, so we can help you at the checkout desk with trying to figure out where they are, where they've gotten to. Okay, so let's move on from looking for books and thinking about journal articles. So once you have a topic and you do start looking for books on it, and especially because of the online situation, you may find you don't have that many books. There aren't that many that are electronic, and it's not going to be convenient to come to campus. But you also may find you've gotten some actually very good books, but Dr. Holbrook takes a look at your initial bibliography and says there are a couple of articles out there that you probably need to supplement this particular topic. Journal articles are what we think of as scholarly or peer-reviewed, are then shorter instances of research. It can mean that this is a scholar's first foray into looking at a particular topic, and they're doing the research and putting it out as they move along. And what that article might lead to might be a book in the end. It might be that the topic is rather narrow, specialized, short-term, meaning that it's not necessary to write a book on the topic, so a journal article will suffice in that same way. So again, going back in on the library home screen under Research Tools, rather than clicking there, I like to show you, put your cursor on Research Tools, just go down to A to Z list, and that's clicking open the databases page. So again, most of the databases we're talking about are indexes to journals. That is, they're helping you identify journal articles on a specific topic. Some of the databases have other functions, that some of them are collections of streaming video, and there are some that are good for Latin America. Some databases are different kinds of encyclopedias. So on the database page, once you know the name of a database that you've used or you've been told to use, if you just put your cursor and click on the letter that that database starts with, then you can open it there. You can also, over on the left, it says all subjects. So most databases, most journal indexes that are databases, are usually geared to some broad discipline. So you can go on this page to identify databases on anthropology, databases, of course, on Latin America and Caribbean studies are here, as well as other kind of topics. So going back into my course guide, we're going to click open the Finding Journal Articles. So this is, you'll see this is a page that's tabbed within itself because there are different features that I like to bring up as reminders. So again, I've got a tab, Off-Campus Access. So this is a reminder again that this is what you need to go to and click on before you start searching for articles. This authenticates you to our vendors when you are anywhere except the FIU campus, so that you won't just get a message saying, get your credit card out and pay for this article, because we don't expect you to have to do that. You should be able to find everything you need freely. Database features. Some of the databases, whenever you look at a database for the first time, take a look to see how it's organized on the page. What is where? Does it have links? Does it have icons for certain functions that can help you manage your literature review? That sometimes you can, in certain databases, they allow you to create an account within that database where you can search and then save your citations into a folder. Just remember, you have to log into it first, or else when you leave it after 2 hours of searching, and come back to it, there won't be anything there because it's not, you can't save it and we can't get it back for you. You can email citations to yourself or a colleague. Now that's not the actual full article, it's the citation to it, so you can go back in to explore how to get it. Other functions allow you to create a bibliographic citation if it's an article that you are using in your paper, and therefore you have to put it into an appropriate style for your bibliography. And some of those actually allow you to export the citation directly into RefWorks, which is a bibliographic management program that we provide at FIU for you. So what we're going to look at first, though, is up at the top, in the top tabs, I've got Latin American and Caribbean oriented databases, and other disciplines. So this first one I click open, this is showing you a small group of the databases that provide journal articles from articles published from Latin America and about Latin America. And by Latin America, I'm really referring to the Caribbean as well. This is a it's a very small group of databases. One of the things I mentioned in a couple of comments I have above the databases list is these are just my recommendations. They're not mandatory. So if there are certain other databases you've used in the past that you think would have good coverage, feel free to keep using those. But I'm recommending others that would be just as useful for you. Now, under other databases and other disciplines, this is not to say I think you should only use the databases that cover Latin American and Caribbean topics, because it's the same thing. If you're doing a paper with regard to political science, let's say, and you cover the Latin American databases, then you're still going to want to go to the ones that broadly cover political science. So that would be something like CHOW, the Columbia International Affairs online portal, as well as PAIS Index, and Worldwide Political Science Abstracts. I'll mention here too, I've got listed two of the other general databases are Project Muse and JSTOR. You may have heard of those. These are huge portals to important research journals published in the United States. So these are also going to have good Latin American content. JSTOR, though, can be a little overwhelming because it's meant to really to provide you the back files of electronic journals. So its searching platform is not as robust. Project Muse has a smaller setting, but it's sometimes a little easier to use. But the important thing is that you have to know how these databases all really come together, what the differences are between them, how you can use them to best advantage. So on these different pages, we're not going to have time to go through all of them. So I'm going to show you a couple from the Latin American side that I think are very unique, that will be very helpful. We're going to start with HAPI Online. HAPI is short for Hispanic American Periodicals Index. So this is a database that's actually over 40 years old. So it has lots of great coverage from journals published in the region, in Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as important research journals from the United States, from Canada, and a few European countries. You can use the search box that appears when you open HAPI, but I'd like to also advise you to click on Advanced Search because this is going to show you the different kinds of ways you can limit your searching. An important one might be to limit by language, because if you only need articles written in, let's say, English and Spanish, then there's no point in doing a search that brings in citations for articles in French, German, or another language that you're not going to be reading. I'm just clicking to show how it's done, but I'm going to leave that open. You can search by date of publication. So if you know you just need to search from about the last 10 years on a topic, then you can put that in. You can limit to full text, but I recommend not doing that because then you're cutting yourself off from the older portion of articles that have the indexes, since again, HAPI got started before there were online databases. If you're doing research on what we now are calling Latinx topics, HAPI does cover journals on U.S. Hispanics, so there are going to be a lot of citations that you can click. So you can click here to limit your searching to that. So that's very useful too. So I'm going to so up above under Advanced Search with the search boxes, again, there's a keyword search, so it works much the same as using the online catalog. And in this case, because I use HAPI a lot and I'm very familiar with it, I'm going to go back in and use a subject heading search, even though the keyword search will work just fine. But so again, I think I'm going to go back to women in Peru, and this time social conditions. I have to admit the last part of that, I'm not sure if it will be just the same. But this search gets me 24 items, and I've got I do have materials in Spanish as well as English and even in French. So then it becomes a matter of looking at the different titles to see if anything covers what you're trying to look at, and again, clicking open the article title, you'll see you have the full record for this particular article with its subject headings, also what we call additional descriptors. HAPI only allows 4 subject headings for every record it indexes, but they also will add any other kinds of keyword searching they think helps best describe the article. The article is also showing where it's available online. A lot of the databases from the larger vendors are able to go ahead and immediately add the full link to the text, that is, to the e-version of the article. HAPI runs on a smaller scale, so what it's managed to do, though, is go ahead and get permissions where they can take you to where the article is sitting elsewhere. So I'm going down to one of my searches, Mujeres Peruanas en las regiones del norte de Chile, apuntes preliminares para la investigación. So here's an article from Estudios Arcameños. So what it's showing me over then to the far right side are the different options I have, clicking to get to the article. And I'm showing you this one because in particular it is showing JSTOR. So again, this is an online portal that we have access to since we subscribe to it at FIU. So when I click here, and it takes me to a different screen, and at the top of it is showing my original happy citation. Then it's showing within JSTOR, and this is it's giving me something a little different than I was hoping, because it's telling me the article didn't exactly come up, except that it's here. As I go down, because what it's showing is the distinct some of the articles in this issue, in the journal, I should say, of Estudios Africanos. So when I come down, I do get to where the article is sitting, and at this point, I can open it up, and that will give me the HTML version of the article, that is, it's been reformatted for the browser, or if I really prefer to read it the way it looks in the print version of the journal, I can come over here on the right side, click on Download PDF, do a little more clicking. I have to accept JSTOR's terms, and now I have my article. So again, I'm free at this point to read it online, to print it out, to save it to my own computer if I want to. The other thing that I can do here when I click on the full citation, over on the left, there's an area in blue, so one of my choices here is email, export, and print. So this is showing I can email the record to myself. Here's where I can export the citation to either RefWorks or EndNote, which is another bibliographic management program that is available. We're starting to introduce it here at FIU, but I haven't used it in many years, so it's one I have to refamiliarize myself with it. Also then, on those search results, so those little links that are all through it are showing that LACC and Cielo are two Latin American-based journal portals where articles are sitting. Also Develoment, which is another journal index. I would advise or be careful about using Google Scholar, because trying to get to the article from that causes a lot of confusion over whether or not we actually have the article available, because it's not necessarily linking to the databases. Also, and I'm looking now at an older article from July 1998, and I just want to show you that the other part with Happy and most of our databases is that when you don't have a link of any kind to the full text of the article, you're usually going to see a link called Find It at FIU. This is a program that we can add to these databases. So when I click on it, it's going to take citation information from this particular article, and it's going to search it against our 1,100 plus databases. And it's going to deliver me the results in a separate screen that in this case is telling me, sorry, we couldn't find this article online. And it is 1998, so a lot of things from that era haven't been digitized yet. So it is telling me, and what that means is that it searched our different databases, the article is not sitting in any of them. On that same page, it's showing I can do a search, I can click to search by title, or by the ISSN, which is an 8-digit number that identifies the journal title, to see if our library at least owns that particular journal in print. And in this case, I clicked it, so it did the search for me in the online catalog and indicating we don't own that particular article. When that happens, and we'll get into this a little more down the road, you have an option of doing a request for the article through Iliad, our interlibrary loan service. Let's go out of Happy, and the other database I think I'll show you. Well, okay, actually, two more under the Latin American and Caribbean list. Digitalia Hispanica. This is really a database that's more of a portal, because it really is covering both e-books and e-journals. So this is a database where you can come to find electronic books on Latin American topics. It's managed and created in Spain, but the people that run it are working constantly with adding Latin American publishers. So you can search it by going over on the left. It's showing broad subject categories where you can pull books up to see what there is. But you can also do your own search to see if they have anything, if there's anything on the topic you're looking for. And I'm going to put in Luis Gomez de Avellaneda, who's a Cuban author from the 19th century that I've been doing a little work on. And when it brings it up, so it's showing me a variety of items. There's a journal, Arbor, from 2014. I happen to know that this is one that's dedicated to her because it was the bicentennial of her date of birth. But there are some other things here that are distinctly on Avellaneda, so that I can go to one of those and click it open. So this is another area where you can find ebooks for Latin American topics. Now and I put it under the journal article page because it doesn't fit perfectly, but since it covers journal articles, it works there. I'm also going to show you Develoment Plus. This is an index done in Spain at the Universidad de La Rioja. It is not compatible with FIU. You'll find it at FIU. And it doesn't necessarily have to be. This is one where you will put your Spanish vocabulary skills to work. So I'm going to put in Mujeres Latinoamericanas and History, Historia, and just to see what I get. And I got 124 items because, again, it's strictly doing a keyword search. Some searches, though, in Develoment can bring you many more hundreds, if not thousands, of items, which meant for a long time it was getting unmanageable. But now, when you do this search with the results, you can go back over to the left, and then you can limit the searching you need. You can limit your search results with keywords that might help just narrow the results list. 124 is not a lot, but it's enough that you might feel like you need to do a little more with coming over here. And just for data publication range, you could think, well, actually I'm interested in the older stuff from the 1980s. There are only 4 items there. So when I click there, that's going to take me from the original search of 124 items found to those 4 items. Now, what's useful again about Develoment Plus is that because even though it's in Spain, it's also reaching out across the world, so it has a high level of Latin American and Caribbean content. And for journal articles, the best thing is, as you get your results list, when you go down through it, you often see the link full text, the one record I'm searching on, probably because I opened it. You can toggle up at the top so that the framework of the database appears in any number of languages, including Basque, but English or Spanish. So if I had toggled that to read, well, go ahead and do it. When I toggle it for Espanol, then it's going to give me my same research, but instead of saying full text, I have a link now to texto completo. So this is one of the great things about Develoment Plus. It is going to give you a lot of links to the full text of journal articles. Not 100%. It's still working with a variety of publishers and contributors. So there are still going to be things here that are not available online. What you have to do then is take the bibliographic information, and again, start with our online catalog to see, do we own the name of the journal in print? Do we have the issue that the article's in, so that you can put a request in through interlibrary loan. Either you can identify that you're an online student, and therefore if we have the issue in the library, interlibrary loan will provide an electronic copy for you. But if it happens to be a journal that we don't own, your interlibrary loan request will just be treated like any other, and again, you will receive an electronic version of the article. Develoment Plus does index more than just journal articles. It actually does what are chapters and edited books on topics, but again, most of those are not going to have the links to the full text. It also indexes what are theses written at Spanish universities. For those of you that are contemplating doctoral work, that could be an interesting area to go into to see what dissertations are coming out of Spanish universities. Let's jump over to the databases and other disciplines, and I think I'll just show you one here historical abstracts, because of course if you're a history major, then this is the preeminent journal that you want to use for historical topics. This historical abstracts is going to cover everyone in the world except the United States and Canada. For those, you go to its companion database, America, History and Life. This is another database that actually goes back quite far, since it was a journal index before there was such a thing as an online database. I think for this one, I'll just put in a slightly different search. So I'm going to use Mexican Revolution. Because this time you might notice, if you're following along or doing your own searching, this gives us over 1,100 items. So one of the things you can do on this database, and a lot of the databases provide this, I can go ahead then over to the side. It's showing me source types. So it's showing me there are dissertations listed, which I don't really need. There are things from articles from what are magazines, that is more popular level reading material that's not appropriate for my paper. Books, again, that could be useful, but what you can often do here is click, and in this case they're calling it academic journals. So that's really the equivalent of saying, I only want this search to show the scholarly journals or peer-reviewed research articles. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said journals before, I should have said articles. So now that I have this, now I can look again. It's still a lot, but this is just giving you an idea of how to work with this. So again, Historical Abstracts does have the linked full text to the first couple of items that I see listed, but then the next one does not. So here's another title in the journal Historia Mexicana from actually just last year, April, June 2017. But it does just show find it at FIU. So again, I click there, and again, I'm going to get a separate screen letting me know if the article is available. And in this case, it's telling me it should be in the database Informe Académico, which is another journal index listed under the Latin American and Caribbean side. And again, the way it works is I still have to go down the page to get to where it's actually listed on this page. So always be aware that when you're working with the journal databases, they don't always automatically display the article. They often make you work for it in different ways, so what you have to do is go back into your database search so you can be aware of what the actual search result looks like for the bibliographic citation. That is the article, title, the name of the journal that it's in, the issue information for the dates, even volume 66, issue number 4, and the page numbers. So when I click this article open, this is where I can see what are the different kinds of functions that I can also use within historical abstracts that help me as I'm searching. So it's showing some of the usual ones, printing, emailing. It says add to folder, so that means this is another one of these databases, and up at the top you'll see it says sign in. So that is for, this is from EBSCO. So this is again a database that's going to allow you to create your own account within it, and then you can add your search results to a folder. But again, you just have to remember to sign in first for that to work. On the side here too, I have a little icon for cite. So if this is an article that's going to end up in my paper, this is going to create my bibliographic citation for me. And in a variety of styles, so I can go to the style that I'm going to be using, and let's say if it's Chicago Turabian, and I find that here, then I can do copy and paste, and then paste that into my Word document. The other part of it, and I don't think I'll have time to do it here, but underside it also has the export function. So again, clicking there would allow me to further export this title into my own RefWorks account, where I can go and find it later, which to my mind is actually a little better than using the folder function that some of the databases have, because you don't have to have logged into RefWorks beforehand to do this. RefWorks is listed in the A to Z list of databases, so if it's something you're interested in using, you would go there, click open RefWorks and click open the new version. There are two different versions because the ProQuest company bought the original RefWorks a couple of years ago. They still have legacy RefWorks, the old way it looks, but now there's the new RefWorks. They'll probably get rid of legacy RefWorks in a couple of more years, so I'd like to recommend to go ahead and create an account with the new RefWorks. Then, as you're using it, again, when it works through the databases, you're exporting your citations into your RefWorks account after the fact. Then you log into that account to look at those citations. What you usually want to do is create folders within RefWorks that you can label for different projects. So if I'm writing a paper on the Mexican Revolution, I would put my citation into my Mexican Revolution folder as opposed to my folder on, let's say, Colombian politics. Okay. Okay. A couple of other things then to point out. I'm not going to go into this very far. There is a tab in the course guide for primary sources. Based on your class assignment for doing a research paper, you may not need to use these. But this is a collection. It's not complete, but it's almost all of the online databases that we have that do provide primary sources in a variety of areas for Cuban religion, Brazil and Portugal, newspapers, Department of State and Great Britain Foreign Office papers, some of the video databases we have, Latin American public opinion from LACC. So this is a variety of different kinds of materials that you can take a look at to see if there's anything there that might help you. I've also got a list under Internet resources. These are just, of course, freely available, but nonetheless research level databases that you could use. One of the important ones is at the very top, and that's the United Nations Comisión Económica para América Latina y el Caribe, or the UN Economic Commission on Latin America and the Caribbean. It goes by two different acronyms, CEPAL and LACC. This is headquartered in Santiago, Chile, but they have offices, activities, programs throughout the region, and these days they are bringing everything back that they publish in terms of activities and reports into the CEPAL website so that it's going to be there online. So this is a consistently good place to find high-level reports on different states of affairs that are primarily, so they define their role as helping improve the economic and social conditions in the region. So that gives you a lot of ground to go into. Digital Library of the Caribbean is an important database, and I'm proud to say I'm affiliated with it because this was created, got its start here at FIU, and is administered here. So this is a portal in which we can add a lot of different kinds of materials coming from the Caribbean through our many partners there, through the different national libraries, archives, and other research libraries. LACC is a website from the University of Texas at Austin. Unfortunately, it's no longer being kept up to date, but it's still a great useful source for links to scholarly research level websites from and about the region. You can search it by country or by broad discipline, so looking for the websites to the different government offices is useful. It can often give you links to NGOs. If some of the links are broken, then do a Google search to see if you can find it, if it's still something in existence that you can find the current URL for it. And the others here are, again, just a variety of the different kinds of great digital resources you can find online. I've got a little tab over on one side here just advising you, and especially if you're interested in using a library loan, you do have to have the library number. That's not your Panther ID number. But the library number, if you were here on campus, you'd have an FIU1 card. Library number would be the 14-digit number on the back of that card, because your campus ID is also your library card. So this is part of how we set up your library account. So if this is something you need, on this little description at the end, I tell you, and I've got a link. So go to the library, go to the request library number page, and that's where you can fill a little form out, And as far as I know, turnaround on this is very quick, and this will allow you to get that library number. Also, citation assistance. Some of you may still be getting into a comfort zone when it comes to creating bibliographic citations using a specific style format, whether your instructor has mandated all of you must use the MLA style format, or your instructor says use the one that you're familiar with, but I do expect consistency. So there's a guide that I've linked to here that's created by some of my colleagues. So this has really great online sources that tell you more about using those different style formats, and often give you examples of how to use one, so that it can get you past that feeling of, do I really know what I'm doing, and how, am I doing this correctly? Because a lot of students come to the reference desk at Green Library, and they may ask for us to help check their citations, but that is just not something we can really do there. We don't have the time to do it, and we do, so it is something you pretty much have to expect to learn on your own. In terms of finding materials, again, the databases we have, and even the ebooks that are now findable in the library catalog, are hopefully going to be enough. But you may come into finding, then again, you may want to find something that's a little older out there that we don't have access to. So discover materials at other libraries is giving you the information, again, about using ILLIAD, our interlibrary loan service. Now bear in mind, interlibrary loan, if you're an online student and you can't come to campus, all the books requested in interlibrary loan must be turned in and picked up at either Green Library or Hubert Library. So if you cannot come to campus at all, it's probably not a good idea to try to request a print book. We also can't borrow ebooks because of licensing consideration. But you can use interlibrary loan to request a journal article if it's a journal that's not online and we don't happen to have the back issues of. Also, again, for book chapters that are part of an edited collection, so it's really the equivalent of a journal article. You can use an interlibrary loan to request those. Turnaround is often very quick. Our interlibrary loan staff always likes to tell us 2 weeks minimum. But for a journal article, I have been nicely surprised more than once that I received the article within 24 hours after I made the request. Some expect it to take a little longer, 2 to 3 days. If you're doing an interlibrary loan and you put something in on Friday night, well, nothing's going to happen to it until Monday morning because interlibrary loan staff aren't available on the weekends. Okay. So I think we're getting close to the end, and I don't want to talk way too much. So I'm just going to again go back and point to the course guide that you will find by going to the library homepage, library.fiu.edu, clicking over to the left to subject and research guides, and then coming down to where Latin American and Caribbean Studies is listed, clicking it open to find LAS 4294. You can also use the URL, libguides, that's LIB as in boy, guides.fiu.edu/LAS4294, so your course number is part of the URL for that. Again, I invite you, if you're here today listening, first, thank you for your time. But if you're coming in and watching this later, again, you are free to contact me. You're still an FIU student online or on campus. So again, my contact information is over to the left side where you can email me, or you can even call me if you need to. And sometimes, and I still do find sometimes that kind of information, it's hard to get across things, so we can sometimes figure out if we want to try and do our own Adobe chat session, or we'll figure out one way or another that I can assist you. So I'm going to come to an end here, and again tell you thank you for your time and attention, and I guess Dr. Holbert can come back in and click to stop recording. So thank you all, and have a great day.
Not really good.
Good.
I was monitoring it from the other room.
Yeah.
get on there and
Yeah.
stop it from recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There we go.